Today's podcast is sponsored by the Design Studio. Whether it's a logo, e-flyer, e-press kit, web design, or business cards, the Design Studio can help create a one-of-a-kind professional look for your business, organization, or ministry. To learn more, go to www.themarketingdesignstudio.net.
Hey, it's a great day to have a great conversation. This is Pastor Tabitha with Let's Talk About It. And I'm going to call this our holiday conversations. How about that? Listen, I think if we're going to have a holiday conversation, we need to have a motivational conversation. So today we are absolutely positioned to have just that with our guest, Miss Vera Jones. Yay! Miss Vera, we're absolutely excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It is absolutely my pleasure. And season's greetings.
Thank you. There you go. We got it first right here on Flow Radio Network from Miss Vera Jones, wishing all of us a season's greeting. I'm going to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of that stuff. Listen, Miss Vera, you are a motivational speaker, author. I'm going to say you are woven into the hall of basketball from the womb to the to the world right now. And I'm just excited. I took a little bit of time to be acquainted with you, and one of the things that captured me very quickly was a little note that you made about life. And it opens like this. It says, life is like a game of basketball. The closer you get to the goal, the harder the foul. That's why you have to stay focused on the goal and play through the foul. Here's the line that I really love. It says, victory may be closer than you realize. Oh, God, those are great things, Miss Vera. I love purpose. I absolutely believe we're winners, and I absolutely understand a little bit about that basketball and foul thing. Can you just take a moment to talk to us about where this caption came from, what inspired it, what it really means to you, and then let's do a little bit of introduction from you to us as to who you really are.
Sure. That's a lot. I'll start with just saying you're very, very close about me practically coming out of the womb, participating in sports. You know, my life is not unlike many young girls. I had an older brother and lots of male cousins. And so if I wanted to play Barbie, that was out. So I grew up a tomboy, following behind my brother and my cousin's footsteps, and fell in love with basketball at the age of 5, and really had no idea at that time that basketball would become my ministry, would become my life, would become and it represents so many things for me. And the greatest thing I think basketball and sports in general taught me was that mantra, which is how to play through the foul. It helped me cultivate a winner's mentality. Life is, for me, has been a series, and for many people, I would think, has been a series of trials and tribulations. But, you know, they say you can't have a testimony without a test. And so as we continue to get tested, for me, those parallels of basketball have, you know, come to the forefront. And that's what it's about. It's about, you know, really, really, first of all, just wanting victory, wanting to win. That's part of it. And then wrapping yourself around the thought that you, our ultimate coach, the creator, has already given us everything we need to win. And so if you start out with that mindset, then you've already kind of stepped into the winner's mentality. And it's just like stepping on a basketball court, realizing you got to play a tough opponent, and the opponent may foul you many times. But if you want to win the game, then you have to stay focused on the goal and not on the foul. And that's really something that began to play itself out over and over again, particularly in my adult life. I just wasn't smart enough to know about it when I was younger. And that's really what has kind of led me to the stage that I'm on today over the last decade of just going around the country and speaking. And there are a couple of huge events that precipitated that, but I suppose I'll get back into that a little later. But that's basically the basketball background.
Okay. So so you grow up, did I understand that you did not have sisters? You had a brother.
That's right.
Okay, and so you fall in love with basketball, and through the love of the game, the sport, I call it courtside Christ, or should I say courtside principles or life principles from the court. I absolutely identify with that. But I know currently you are, as you said, you're traveling the country. We know that you're motivating individuals' lives. And I want to ask you one of the questions that I saw noted from your site that's asked many times. Vera, what's different about you? Before I ask what's different, can I say, Vera, tell me, what do you intend to accomplish with this idea of serving as a motivational speaker? What does that mean to you? What are you as a motivational speaker?
Well, I think I'm not necessarily defined, but certainly I embody a couple of, and that's why I said a couple of life incidents, and the platform on which I speak. Again, the overall platform, Play Through the Foul, basically is about overcoming adversity with faith, with perseverance, with unity, good things like that. But for me personally, the very first thing that happened to me, and this is one of my favorite of many stories to share, short form is I was coaching at Indiana University. I was an assistant coach back in 2007. And I'm a single mom, so my mom and dad would come up and help out with my son. At the time, he was 9 years of age. And we would go off, March Madness time and, participate in a tournament. So sometimes I'd be gone, a few days, sometimes a week. And this particular year, my mom came up to visit, and she sat down, and I made a nice dinner. I thought it was a good dinner. My mom had this way with herself. She would always go, you know what I think you should do? And I thought that was going to be another one of those lectures, about getting married, find yourself a good husband. I thought I was going to get that lecture. Instead, she says, you need to give up this coaching thing. And it was crazy because, like I said, since the age of 5, I got a scholarship to Syracuse University. I went on to coach. I went on to be a national television broadcaster for sports. So the concept of just giving up sports was interesting to me and odd. And I kind of just took it with a grain of salt, but it was just really out of the blue that she said it. And I went away for a week. When I returned, my mom and dad returned to Jacksonville, Florida, where they were living at the time. And that was the last lecture I had ever gotten from my mom because she died suddenly of a heart attack. And I was very close to my mom, as many, many of us are. And that just took me for a loop. My father was turning 80 at the time. My son, I had a 9-year-old son. So I had to pack up my life from Bloomington, Indiana, and a very stable job as a coach, and come back, and I had nothing. I was unemployed. I had a mortgage up in Indiana. I had to live in an apartment here. And, and life was really hard without my mom, who I talked to every day. And suddenly one day I heard that little voice say, you know what I think you should do? She said to me in that conversation, we sat down, she said, give up coaching, get yourself on the speaker circuit, and then get yourself on Oprah. Well, I'm still working on that last one. But the first two I did accomplish. I gave up coaching basketball. I got on the speaker circuit. She said, I want you to finish writing that book. And that's where Play Through the Foul came from. So one of the things I share on stage often are just how powerful our words are. We can uplift people with them. We certainly can break people down. But sometimes our words are downright divine and prophetic, as my mother's words for me. So I gave up coaching. I started writing my first book. I'm now a 4-book author. I put together an entire training program. I just stepped out on my own on faith and just followed those words. And so here I am. I can't do the math, 2007, almost 10 years later.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing with my life. And it was, as painful as that was, it was indeed prophetic for me. The second thing that happened for me, just as I wrote Play Through the Foul and I was just getting on my feet and I thought, wow, this is really taking off for me. My son, who was 12 at the time, was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And at the age of 12, I was told there was a good chance he wasn't going to make it. I was told even if he did make it, he would probably be blind. I was told even if he's blind and he does survive, he will live his life with a ton of medical conditions, severe medical conditions. He'll be in and out of the hospital. And my life started becoming one where I was constantly hearing what I can't do and what he can't do. and he made it through the brain surgery, but it did leave him blind. And then faith became my new platform because I held on to God's word. When I talk about words being prophetic, the word is most prophetic. And we held on. And I think that was the biggest trial in our lives where I had always grown up in church, knew about the Bible, went to church, went to Sunday school, participated, but didn't have that personal relationship with faith.
That's good.
And out of that adversity, my second book came, which was New Best Friend, A Little Book of Faith. And it basically just was all about a poem that was placed in my spirit divinely the night before my son went into surgery. And the tagline to the poem was, "Stop hanging out with worry and doubt and make faith your new best friend." And I realized that was put there so that I could help the world, not just to get through our situation, which is why it was, but that one day I would be able to help other people understand when you don't have anything else and everything is out of your control. Sometimes we're brought to that place so we can truly, truly know just how powerful our faith is.
Oh,
so
that
was pretty much my life. And so my son now is 18. Although legally blind, he actually one day through prayer, he woke up and he was able to see just a little out of his left eye. He's totally blind in the right and blind in the left peripheral. So he sees life like looking through a straw.
Wow.
And he went on to the Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind, which is where Ray Charles went to school.
Wow.
And good people helped him, just stepped in and helped him. And he no longer walks with a cane. He no longer doubts. He no longer listens to the people who say what he can't do because, he cannot drive a car, but he uses Uber just fine. And so he's making his way. And it's beautiful to look at how far he has come. And then I basically, Pastor, I just get on stage and I share that story, a little more elaborate and funny at times, but certainly emotional at other times. I share that story and what our play through the foul moments look like. And I just hope to be an encouragement to help other people understand some of those steps to get through their adversities as well.
Well, that's great. Listen, I'm telling you, we could talk all day right there. I'd like to ask you, because you said there's another quote from you that life is full of adversity, and how you choose to overcome them most deeply defines our strength of character. So what I want to say is, I hear you saying that we have a choice to make as it relates to the experience that all of us have, which is known as adversity. You said how you choose to overcome. So if we're going to overcome, am I hearing you say that we have to make a choice to overcome adversity, which means it's possible not to always have misery, even though you've experienced adversity?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where that whole winner's mentality comes from, and where I now have learned that it goes hand in hand with faith. You know, you are as powerful, as beautiful, as talented, as gifted, as you're willing to believe God has blessed you to be. And it's not always easy to get around, and that's the whole beauty of the parallel, because the opponent wants to convince you that you're not going to win, that you're incapable.
Right.
But your opponent is very much aware of how good your coach is.
Right.
Your coach just needs you to carry out all of that wisdom and power to your best ability, and he's going to give it to you. But you have to make a choice to say, I'm going to follow the coach. I'm going to run the play the way the coach said to run it.
Right.
And if I do that, I will find victory.
That's right.
But it's very easy to be discouraged from that. I'm never going to stand and say it's an easy game to play. It is, like I said, it's like being neck and neck, and you're down, 10 points in the final quarter with 2 minutes on the clock. But somewhere you have to believe you're still going to win, because to be honest, victory's already laid out for us.
That's good. Very talking good. I think we need to get you down here to let you just keep reminding us that we are winners. And I believe that one of the things that is very important about your life and the work that you're doing currently is that you are allowing us to be reminded through your testimony, because that's basically what it is. Your testimony is providing an avenue to inspire and motivate and help others understand that if God did it for you, then God can do it for them too. And I'm
Amen.
excited about that. I get excited about that because that's a reality. That's not a figment of our imagination. So now let's talk here. I want to have an audio motivational segment, if we can, real quickly. You got a great work. I always say, let's make the A in life. But Miss Vera, we want to come back and talk about making the E's in life. Mama say, you don't have to be the smartest thing, but you better make sure you have all E's in that conduct segment. So listen, we want to talk a little bit about these E's when we come back with Miss Vera. Listen, let me tell you, you need to call somebody and tell them, if you ever need to be reminded that there's a winner in you, today is the day for us to ignite that reality. Victory is so much closer than you realize. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. But let's talk about it right here on Flow Radio.
This is FlowRadioNetwork.com.
Great day. I'm Pastor Tabitha, and I'd love to have an opportunity to connect with you on Wednesdays, 12 noon, right here for your Wednesday Word with me, Pastor Tabitha. You tune in, tell a friend. I believe we'll all get the strength that we need to live life on purpose with power. I love you in Jesus. Looking forward to seeing you right here on Wednesdays, FlowRadioNetwork.com. Tell a friend. Tune in. We'll see you Wednesday.
This is FlowRadioNetwork.com.
On the go, you can still get into the flow. Tune in via any mobile device or portable Wi-Fi enabled device. Simply go to your app store and download the free TuneIn app. Type Flow, F-L-O, Radio Network in the search bar and look for the orange Flow Radio logo. Click the heart to place us in your favorites. Now you are all set to listen to the Flow on the go. FlowRadioNetwork.com.
Thank you for taking the time to download this iFlow podcast powered by Flow Radio Network. To search for another podcast, you might enjoy going to iflowpodcast.com. You can also find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher Radio. iFlow by Flow Radio Network. We are the power podcast that changes lives by the download.
Hey, happy holidays one more time right here at FlowRadioNetwork.com with Let's Talk About It. We're excited because this is the day, this is the time, this is the season that if we're not careful, we'll be down in our spirits. But we have Miss Vera Jones, who is motivational speaker, author, and I would like to say great example of how to win this walk with your faith. She's here today, and we understand that she can talk about it like no one else. So opposed to coaching you on the A's, today we want to coach you on the E's. So Miss Vera, there are a few E's that you talk about that will help our lives be lived better. And so if we could just walk through those real quickly, can you give us a lesson on the E's? And I want to remind you, this would be a great time to take notes. Sometimes we try and put too much on our brains, but this is a great time to just take a little note. If you're sitting at your desk or you're at your home somewhere, pick up a piece of paper and a pen and jot these down. And let's see how your life is charged from these few little, should I say, expressions of the E. Miss Vera, let's go. Let's motivate.
All right. Well, ease, when ease is a play on word, I talk about doing, basically living life with ease, as in easy.
Okay.
But the ease, and, we are only as effective or efficient as we are empowered, enlightened, encouraged, empathic, and enthused. And again, this is, a play on ease, but those are some qualities that I found were most necessary, I think, to winning in this game of life, so to speak. Okay. To be effective and to be efficient as communicators and as people in relationship all over. You have to be empowered. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. You have to be able to accept that you do have, even though physically there are times where you can't, and emotionally where there are times that you can't. you still get your mind wrapped around that doesn't last forever, that you are empowered to succeed. Enlightenment is one of the big ones. I just happen to think that in this day and age, we've become lazy. And yet, and still, there is more information available for us via technology than ever in the history of the world. So, you know, I used to get on my son all the time. I'd ask him something. He'd say, well, I don't know. I'm like, unacceptable. Unacceptable. I will take, I don't know at the moment. But I'm never going to take, I don't know, because it is out there. So get enlightened. If you're trying to build a relationship, get into the Word. If you're trying to learn about math, then study math. You know, whatever it is. Encourage, that's something we all can do. A lot of us get into these slumps where we feel like we can't do anything in life. Well, one thing you can always do is be an encourager. So tap into your resource as being able to help somebody else. Empathy is something that I feel is, you know, I'm real big. I kind of consider myself the empathic leadership coach. When I work with organizations, or if just I'm working one-on-one with people, try to help them tap into their emotional intelligence to be able to understand that, you know, life isn't solely about us. We're a team. And so in order to be a better team, the onus is on me to be more empathic, to actually care and be compassionate about the people who God has asked me to serve, or those people that I work with or relate to. That could be family members, because family can be tough too. But to have empathy, and hopefully that same empathy will be returned to you. And last but not least, enthused. I mean, what's the point if you're not having fun? Right. And I think that's where the whole mentality of playing the game, most of the time, playing games are fun. You know, even if you lose, if you keep it in the right perspective, it's fun to play. It's fun to compete. And so life should be, I just don't feel that he put us here to be miserable. Right. We're tested, but I just think if you have to tap into, and I say that not making light of the fact that, especially this time of year, there are a lot of people who are depressed, they're lonely, they struggle. You've lost loved ones at this time of year. Right. And I'm not talking about those flagrant fouls. Those are tough. Right. But ultimately, to just wake up every day and find a source of enthusiasm so that you can go in and do what is asked of you for the day and actually enjoy doing it. I think that's important about life. You do that, those ease, live life with ease, and you'll find life to be much more easy for sure.
I love that. Live life with ease. And you find that life is more easy. I love that. I almost broke out with the Commodores. What did he say?
Like Sunday morning. That's right.
So we need to get up every day and say, I'm easy today. Just
that's
like
right. I'm easy like Sunday morning.
I'm easy like Sunday morning. Oh, that's great. And listen, we're going to begin to practice those. We're going to begin to remember those. And we're going to, I'm going to say we're going to begin to extend those, encouraging people. I love that, to be effective and efficient. How can we do that? By being empowered, enlightened, encouraged, empathetic. Empathic, and then enthused. I love that. Now, enthused, I ought to get an additional credit for that enthusiasm, because I try and bring it everywhere I go. Because that. Oh
my goodness, you got it. You got it.
Yes. Well, listen, Miss Vera, I know that you mentioned 2 of the 4 books. You said you've written 4 books. I know that my new best friend. I love that, which is the Little Book on Faith, and then Play Through the Foul. You mentioned there 4, but those are 2. Can you tell us about the other 2 books that you've authored?
Sure. Oddly enough, at the same time I was writing the first book, Play Through the Foul, years before, I had tried to co-author a book with a gentleman from my church. His name is A.J. Ali. And so 8 years later, but it was all in his hands. I was a co-author on that project. And it took 8 years, but we came out with the True Champions 30-Day Challenge, Spiritual Preparation for the Game of Your Life. And that is a Christian devotional. It's a devotional where you wake up every day and there's kind of a sports-related story, for instance, that's in there. And this book basically challenges you if you're looking to change your life, so to speak. It's kind of a 30-day guide to at least get started on that journey. So it's neat. There has a personal journal in there some days. On other days, it asks you, specific things to consider in your life. But mostly it just asks you to pick one or two things that you say, you know what? Remember we talked about that choice thing? I'm choosing today to change this about my life.
Wow.
And that book kind of walks you through that. So that's the True Champion 30-Day Challenge by A.J. Ali and Vera Jones. And then the last book I'm really excited about because it's a children's book, and it was just released on audio as well. I've got to get it up on the website. But it's called The Only Sun, S-U-N, as in the sun in the sky. But it was a book right after Andrew, my son, was diagnosed with a tumor, and he had the surgery, and he was blind, and he went to school. He got bullied. He got picked on, and he just really had given up on life. And he came to me crying. He said, "Mom, is there anything worse than losing your sight? Losing your vision. Losing your sight." And I said, "Yes, losing your vision, because sight and vision are two totally different things. Wow. Sight is physical. It's the here and now. Vision is spiritual. I'd rather you lose your sight than to lose the vision that God has given you about who you're supposed to be, because it's not about what you can see, it's about who you're supposed to be." So another poem had come to me, and I wrote this story. I said, you have to stop trying to be like those trees out there when God intended for you to be the sun. That's what we struggle with, especially when we're kids. We want to fit in. Everybody wants to be just like a tree, just like all the other trees. There's a million trees, but there's only one sun. So that's kind of, and that's also a play on words, because The Only Sun, as in the sun in the sky, is a book I wrote for my only son, S-O-N. So it's a fun little book. It was illustrated by my nephew. And it's interesting because as much as I wrote it as a children's book, I get asked, and in fact, a lot of people buy them for other adults, because the life lessons are life lessons, whether you're a child or you're an adult. It's about being okay with being who you are. You're the only one, just like the sun. So, it's all right to shine bright. That's what that's about.
Oh, you have wonderful lines. I love those. And listen, I believe that you have such work to help every and any life that's listening to us today. And so, Vera, I really don't want to leave without making sure that they have an opportunity to make contact with you. So for this inspiration, for this motivation, can you tell us how to be in touch with you?
Yes, the best way is to go to www.verasvoiceworks.com. VerasVoiceWorks.com. And there is an opportunity there. There's like a booking form, but it's also a way that you can just email me. I'll get that email right away. I'm really good at responding to people's email. A lot of times I don't get phone calls because I'm on the run or I'm on a plane. So you can visit the website there. You can also pick up the books there. In the upcoming year, I plan on revamping the entire thing and making it a lot more accessible, with a lot more opportunities for people to reach out and reach me. And like I said, there's an audio book coming out and hopefully a lot of videos. So I'm trying to grow just like we all are. We're all trying to grow and make our place in the world. And I really have such a genuine heart to help people. And I just hope that some of the experiences or the tests, so to speak, that I've been through can be that help to so many people who are struggling right now to win.
Well, I absolutely believe that it is already and will to a greater capacity. Listen, there's another little tagline that the completion of the little statement that I made earlier about the choice to overcome adversity. You said, take a look in the mirror and see if purpose is staring back at you. Vera, you said something. You said at your website, Vera's Voice Works. I want to say to the listener, your voice works as well. So what we want you to do is know that there is a winner. There's a winner in you. We want to get the winner out of you, and we want your voice to work just as Vera's voice is working right now in our world. So, Miss Vera, we want to say thank you. This is great. We're going to go and get those books, and we're going to be living easy. Yes, we are. And I cannot wait until you drop more material so that our lives can be lived in a more efficient, effective kind of way. God bless you, Vera, for the holidays. Thank you for sharing this time
God
here.
bless you, too. Thank you. Thank your audience as well.
That's great.
Yes. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to share. Thank you.
Oh, no, this has blessed me immensely. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I am so encouraged. I am so feeling so inspired. Thank you. I'm very serious.
Well, get me down to Houston. I would love to meet you in person.
You're live and rocking the nest. This is Flow Radio Network.